we are back once again with another fabulous lady you should know. I want to bring you Vanessa Lopez. She is a resident brow and lash artist. And I would mention her business, but we're totally in the moment of rebranding,
yes,
which is super exciting. Okay, so you've had a business for how long now?
About 2 years. That's when I went solo.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've been in the industry for 3 years.
Okay. So 2 years you've been solo, you've been doing something, and now you're in a moment of redefining that.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I first started, I kind of identified myself with a business. So my first original name was a combination of my name, Vanessa, and aesthetics. So it was Nesthetics.
Okay.
But as I started to really know what my business was, as far as like the mission and the value, and at first you don't really know what you want to offer, but once you get in it and you start to really get to know yourself in a deeper level, I'm like, this is what I want my business to stand for.
Yeah.
So I really started uncovering things about myself, that I'm a person who is very compassionate. I want people to feel heard, feel seen, relax, because, you know, we're women in business. We just want those 30 minutes to just unwind.
Yeah.
Or mothers who just sometimes just need that time to just reset. So that's why my new brow name is called the Brow Reset.
The Brow Reset.
Yes,
oh,
yes,
I love that.
So it's kind of like a double meaning, where your eyebrows are resetted into perfection.
Sure.
But at the same time, you as yourself is resetted, whether it's getting that boost of confidence in your eyebrows or feeling like that confidence in yourself, but also that reset of just like quieting your mind and just feeling completely at ease afterwards.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate that so much, because you could get your brows done in many different places, right? So that sort of sets you apart, like the intentionality about the experience.
Yes.
So what was like a moment that you could pick and say, I want to do this differently. I want it to speak to myself. What was that like?
So I've always been the type of person that always wanted to stand out. One thing that I think it's a funny story. So I'm a musician.
Oh.
And when we had to pick our instrument, the instrument that I chose was trumpet, because all the girls were picking the flutes and the clarinets. And I'm like, I want to be different.
Yeah.
So I've always had that in me. And when I went into the brow world, I know there's a lot of people who do the same thing, could provide the same service, but I always thought to myself, how can I make this better? And that's something that I learned about myself in the business journey, is that I'm an innovator. So I wanted to innovate and make the experience better. And I would always hear people tell me about their experience at other places, and I would take all that feedback and be like, this is what I could do to stand out. So an example that I do is I like to map out the eyebrow and show the people in the mirror, like, this is exactly what I'm going to remove before I do anything, to take that ease away of, is she going to thin out my eyebrows? Or is she not going to do what I want her to do? So people already feel at ease. And that's one thing that I feel makes me stand out. And it's just like little things like that I kind of picked up along the ways, and just making the experience a lot better. And I noticed that experience is what really sets a person apart, especially in the saturated market like the brow industry. Yeah.
Or, I mean, any industry, like pick, right, the real estate industry. Like, there's thousands of them. There's hundreds of brow artists. Which one of those are taking the time to really like bring value outside of just what the job is? So that's really like, that's a big deal that you thought about it that way, because you're taking something that many people can do, and really wanting to make it your own. And that's pretty special. That's real cool. I want to just say that.
Oh,
I just want to say that right now. So what were you doing before you opened up? Were you just working for somebody else, or what was that like before you opened up your own shop?
So my story's kind of funny. It didn't go the way that I initially wanted it to go. I graduated high school, and the first thing that was put in my head, you need to go to college. So I went to college, got my degree in business entrepreneurship. I always had that thought of wanting to own my own business, but I never knew what.
Sure.
So I went through the corporate route, and I was a manager at a company called Enterprise Rent-A-Car for the 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was there for a long time.
Okay.
And then as most people through COVID kind of go through a self-realization, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to try something different? And I heard so many people pivoting. And that's when I decided to step down as a manager and just become a regular worker and go to esthetician school and get my esthetician license. I thought I was going to initially do skincare services, but I'm a person who loves to experiment. So as I was experimenting with other things, and I got into the eyebrows, and it's just kind of like destiny took me to doing eyebrows, and I just stuck with it, and I got really good at it and obsessed with it. So that's how I came to where I'm at today.
Very interesting. So you're right. Parents always tell their kids, go to college, go to college. What are you going to be when you grow up? And like, did you say, I'm going to be a brow artist?
Oh, no, never thought.
Never, right? And here you are running your own business. And I would imagine it's like your only job.
Yes.
So it's a successful business.
Yes.
That's pretty special, you know, and what I really appreciate, and you've mentioned a couple times, is like, I listened to what other people were saying, or I watched what other people did, and I learned from that. That's a skill that most people don't practice. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now you're rebranding, and you're recreating the experience around your place. Any fear around that? Are you nervous?
On rebranding, no, I'm actually excited because I feel like it aligns more of who I am as a person, and also what I want the business to represent. Like we mentioned before, I feel like there's a lot of people doing the service, but not in a more intentional manner. And I feel like I'm kind of like setting the path to something new and exciting.
Yeah, trailblazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes. How exciting. So where is your shop?
In Palm Desert, on Fred Waring.
Okay.
Or Fred Waring? Where?
Fred Waring. I've heard it done both ways.
Yeah, Fred Waring. Yeah. So that's where I'm located right now.
Okay, cool. Cool. And do you still play the trumpet?
So funny enough, on the journey of me trying to do something for myself and do something fun, I did join an orchestra band like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But I now play the French horn.
Because, oh, really?
They had too many trumpet players, so the director was like, I kind of need a French horn player, and I'm okay for a challenge. Okay. I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to just be in your band. So I picked up the French horn.
So you've been playing the trumpet for how many years?
Since 6th grade.
6th grade. Yeah. So you felt very comfortable with that. That was your thing.
Yeah, that was my thing.
And then you say, I want to do this. And now you have to learn something. It's probably not completely different, but totally different.
Yes.
So how was that?
It's definitely challenging, like I said, even though it's in the same family, the brass family. The French horn is much more difficult to play. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I've been hearing from all my French hornists, like, oh, you decided to play the difficult instrument. I'm like, well, I kind of was put into this role, but, I'll take the challenge. Yeah, so, it's definitely been an experience, but, like everything, it takes practice. Sure. To get
time on
good
task.
At it.
Yeah, so how often do you play shows?
So it's seasonal. So we have a concert it's around the Palm Springs area. It's called the Desert Winds Freedom Band. That's the name of the community band. And we play about 3 concerts a year.
Okay. And how often do you practice?
1 time a week. As a busy woman, it's very hard to practice often. Sure. But I love it so much. And it's a fun thing more for me. In the beginning, I was beating myself up because I'm like, I need to practice. I need to do this. Right. I need to sound a certain way. Right. But then I realized, you know what? You're doing this for fun. Like, so if you can't practice as much right now, it's okay. Right. But
sometimes you have to give yourself that grace.
Yeah,
because it becomes not fun. Yeah. And then something that you've been doing for so long, you just don't do it anymore. And that's not any fun.
Yes. Yeah. But I love it. It's something that's a part of me, and I don't want to let it go.
Up. Yeah. Okay. Has there been a mentor in your life or somebody along the way that you've really relied on who may have given you some really good advice about how to kind of keep pushing through?
Oh, so I felt like in the beginning, I had to do a lot of it by myself. I'm the eldest.
Okay. Of how many?
Of two.
Okay.
And my parents are immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
So they could only help me so far. So
Sure.
I felt like I had to pave the way for a lot of portion of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Up until this point, I did invest into mentorship.
Okay.
And my two mentors are Dulce McMillan and Ryan McMillan. They are the owners of Fit in 42 Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
And they just launched their coaching program, and
Okay.
it's about high achievement, entrepreneurship, and mindset.
Mm.
So every Thursday we meet up, and he and Dulce give very great tips.
Okay.
And it has me thinking about even like something one day I want to build a team,
Mm-hmm.
how you could go about building a team.
Mm.
So it's like preparing me to get to that next step of my life. Yeah.
Excellent. How long have you been doing that?
It started in November, so
okay. It's fairly new.
Fairly new.
Yeah, and you feel like it's helping you to kind of manage the day-to-day, but also set goals for what it looks like?
Yeah, a lot more clarity. It's nice having someone who's already been there, done that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So not feeling like I'm alone anymore, it's great. So I'm a big advocate in investing into coaching or mentorship because it's so helpful. It's like day and night from feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or am I even doing this right?
Or this just happened and what do I do? Like having that opportunity to ask or bounce ideas off other people.
Yes.
Really, and the mindset thing.
Yes.
Like so often we sit around and we're like, what was I thinking when I did this? Like it's never going to work. Nobody's going to care about it the way I do. And you just need that person in your corner that's like, well, yeah, look at what work you already did. And look at what you've already accomplished. You know, I mean, it's really important. Coaches, mentors, so important.
Yes.
So important. So you mentioned that your parents are immigrants. Are they still here in the area?
Yes.
Awesome. And they must be super proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are very proud.
You're a business owner now and a successful one. So that's amazing. What kind of advice would you give other women who are, sidestep, in COVID, there was a moment where everybody could decide if they wanted to continue doing what they were doing. So many women that we've talked to over this past year has literally said, well, it was COVID and I just didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. So it was sort of like a catalyst for thinking that way. Whereas maybe we don't have that same experience day to day right now. So in the absence of something forcing you to do something different or forcing you to think about it, what would you say to those women who are like, I'm not really sure, it might not work out. Like who cares about me and my idea? Like what would be your advice to them?
I think other than COVID, one of the biggest drive for me was the thought of, are you going to one day be older and think back in your life and be like, do I regret anything in my life?
Sure.
So I didn't want to live a life of regret. Like, what would have happened if I would have left my corporate job and pursued my dreams?
Right.
Would I have been happier? I didn't want to live in a life of what ifs.
Yes, right.
I wanted to know. And if I failed, at least I knew, and I knew I had something to maybe fall back. I could always find another job.
100%.
I could always, like start over. And also another thing too, I felt circumstances helped a lot because in my case, I wasn't married at the time. I don't have kids. So I'm like, what do I have to lose?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I felt like that was something that really helped me. So thinking of like, don't live a life of regret.
Yeah. Do what moves you.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't work out the first time.
Yes.
That's super great.
Yes.
So how do people find you to come for your service?
Well, they could find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is browse by Vanessa_Palm Desert. Or they could find my website. Right now it's at the
I was going to say,
it's
going to be new.
It's going to be new, but what should I mention? Should I say the new one?
Yeah, say the new one. Well, mention both, and we'll make sure that they have access to both of them.
Okay, so currently is at www.nesthetics, so it's NESSTHETIZZ. It's a very complicated .com. The new one's going to be easier, so they could probably find me on there. It's www.thebrowreset.com.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Yeah. And I thank you so much. And I want to give a shout out because we did ask a lot of our ladies that we've talked to before to nominate somebody that they thought should share their story. And Kaylee nominated you. And she's wearing clothes from her shop, I have to say. So that's super great. It's meant to be. So yes. I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
I just want to say thank you so much. It feels like such an honor to share a part of my story. Yeah. Honestly, it feels like an accomplishment.
Yes, I love that so much.
Yeah, so yeah. I just want to say thank you, and I hope my story helps to anyone out there.
It will. Yeah. It absolutely will. Yeah. Here, can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, until next time. That was so good.